Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. And I guess I'll apologize again for yesterday. I don't know what happened. The internet was acting up, I guess. I think it's got to be something to do with the cable I buried from the shop up to here. Really couldn't figure it out, but apparently you guys said I froze up yesterday, and then it didn't look like there was any more interaction, so I just finally ended the vlog. I didn't watch it back to see where it ended or what happened, but anyway, I apologize. Hopefully that won't happen today, and hopefully we're live right now and you can actually see what's going on. I don't see any comments scrolling. There goes one, so maybe it's okay. Anyway, you got a few videos, clips to show you, and we'll just start with the first one right now. Well, this is backlit. You can't see it very well, but you can see Sue's ripening tomatoes here in the window. She's got plants started. But what I'm really wanting to show you, and I was just going to snap a picture, is this. That's the temperature right out there now. I've been out there building a wall for the last couple hours for the water wheel. And I'll show you some clips on that next. Yeah, it was a warm day yesterday, and yeah, I was out in it quite a bit, but I found ways to kind of combat the temperatures. I'll show you that here in a second, but take a look at this. Well, this little bit of material here, these 6 small windows that are, these are not openable windows. I'm just going to put hinges on them and let them swing open type thing. Got a couple of door knobs. And these 2 doors back here, with those 3 pieces of plywood, is what Menards calls about $1,100 worth of stuff. Maybe a little more than that. I can't remember now how much it was. It was quite a bit. But anyway, that's a lot of money. I guess I'm committed to the water wheel house now, so hopefully it's gonna get done, because I've got most of the other projects caught up to the point where I can work on it. Yep, spent a lot of money yesterday. I had planned to go there just to get nails. Spent a little bit more money than just what nails cost. And I have one final video clip to show you. You might as well take a look at it. Well, Sadie's all excited again this morning. Stay down, quit, don't jump. Stay down, get back. Stay down, down, stay down, down, down. Sit. All right, good girl. All right, come on. No, quit jumping. Stop. Get in. Go get in. Oh, you're going to get in that way, huh? Okay, fine. Well, yesterday I spent the morning working on the internet, trying to figure out why it was so slow. I never did figure it out. After I finished that, well, then I stayed down. Gee whiz, it's really hard to do anything with her. Anyway, after I did that, I worked on this Ranger, and I got it running much better. I am really happy with the way it's running now. Once we start going, she sits down. Looks like we have our visitor out in the yard this morning. Well, everybody, there's Bill Webb. How are you doing, Bill?
Good.
Well,
Morning.
I came down to kind of show some of the stuff I did yesterday.
Okay.
Well, the field's looking good with all the hay cut off of it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Did you see the project I started in the shop there?
No, I did not.
Well, you can walk over there if you want to. I'm going to go over there and show these guys. can see I have the wood saw set up in the metal shop, which is a little bit unusual. And you can see the beginnings of what will be the water wheel house. It was 102 in the shade yesterday, but it was a little cooler in here since I have a window air conditioner. But it wasn't much cooler. It was only like maybe 85 in here. But so I was still sweating it, but at least it wasn't 102. And you might see I'm putting these cross braces in here, and the reason I'm doing that, and I'm going to put another row about right here, is because I'm going to put board and batten siding on this, and the siding will run this direction, and you need something to nail it to. Otherwise you would only have just the top and the bottom boards with an occasional stud to nail to. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Trying to make it look old, and it will look old because I'm using all my rough sawn lumber. So I had a busy day yet again yesterday. It's pretty much filled up the whole day, especially when you consider the trip to Menards to get all those materials and things. Anyway, we do have a guest here. Slide in here sideways, Hank. That's what they used to say to Hank Snow. Slide in here sideways, Hank.
Good morning.
Yeah, there's Bill Webb, and
back again.
Yeah, what is it like? What's that old saying? Like a bad penny? No, we're glad to have him back. It's always fun when Bill's here. And Bill and I, we were talking about this camera and how it, I'm always talking about the fact that it's backwards. And I think people think, well, you're just an idiot. You should be able to figure this out. But tell them, Bill, it is backwards, isn't it?
It is backwards. I was trying to get out of the camera view this morning. I kept getting further into it. I'm like, I'm going the wrong way.
It's weird. And I think I figured out just this morning why that is. I was looking at this shirt, for instance, in the mirror this morning. And in the mirror, I couldn't read it because it's backwards. But on camera, I can read it. And when I lean this way, I'm leaning this way to me, but on screen, it's that way. It's just, it'll mess up your head, I'm telling you. Anyway, and Bill was out for a walk this morning already, and when I went out to make some of those little video clips, and we ran into one another, and I said, well, why don't you just sit in on the vlog then? And it looks like there's a question or two for Bill on the vlog also. Let's see. I thought I would expound just a little bit on the Ranger thing because we've talked about that a few different times. And, I bought I think it was $159, something like that, around that kind of money for this tool that sets the TPS sensor. That's the throttle positioning sensor. And this tool has an LED readout on it. And it basically it's just numbers. It's like 0.72 or something like that, and there's a bunch more numbers after that. And everything I had read on adjusting this, I don't know, what do you want to call it, electronic fuel injection, I guess. Everything I had read on adjusting this throttle position sensor for this EFI, it said to adjust it. When the throttle is all the way off, it was supposed to be at like a 0.58. And then when the throttle's all the way on, or I don't know, you're supposed to turn the sensor or something like that to get it to the 5.8. And then you start adjusting the throttle and you keep it tightening it until it gets up to a 0.71 or something like that. Well, anyway, so that's the way I had been doing it. And it wasn't working. It just wasn't working. Well, what I wanted to tell you guys is just the Rosa luck again. That 2009 Polaris Ranger it's like a unicorn. I mean, it's so rare. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it really is. It was the only year they made this particular model, and everything on that particular model is just unique. It's all unique. For instance, if I want to buy a new charging stator to charge the battery, it's $1,200. $1,200 for that particular model. Now, you can get the other ones for several hundred, like 300, 400, something like that, which is still ridiculous because a car alternator only costs $100, you know. But anyway, mine's $1,200. Well, that's the way it is on everything on this machine. Everything about it's unique. And so like adjusting this throttle position sensor, those numbers weren't right for mine. But they were the only numbers I could find, you know. Well, then I found a different Ranger. It wasn't the exact same model, but it was the same year for 2009, and it had different numbers on that throttle position sensor. So I thought, well, I'll use those numbers. Well, sure enough, I used those numbers, and the thing's working. And you can't guess it. You can't just try something. You know, because I've done that. I've tried that a bunch, and that didn't work at all. So anyway, I think I finally solved the problem. I know most of you could care less, but that's, you know, it's been a big deal for me, and I've been using it for years now when it wasn't running right, and it's running fairly well now. Okay, I beat that to death. Let's see. That's about all I have for this morning. You got anything you want to add or say or do? Or?
It's just beautiful up here. We've been on the motorcycles the past 6 days, and that is so...
Yeah, tell them where you went.
We went to Hillsboro, Wisconsin.
Probably can't hear you very well. I'll throw this over here.
We went to Hillsboro, Wisconsin. We started out last Tuesday morning from my home in Commerce, Texas. We went to Paris, Texas, met some other folks. There was 12 motorcycles in the group. We went up to Eureka Springs and spent the night. Then Wednesday morning we got up, we went to Burlington, Iowa, and spent the night, and then on up to Hillsboro, Wisconsin, Thursday morning. And we stayed, no, that would be Friday morning. I don't remember. It's been a long week. Anyway, we tried to do some stuff up there with one of our sister motorcycle ministries. We are the Circuit Rider Motorcycle Ministry, and it rained so much up there we had to cut it. A day short. On the way back, we had a little bit better luck with the weather. We went to the Harley-Davidson Museum in Milwaukee and got to see the bronze fawns. If you've never been there, I highly recommend going to the Harley-Davidson Museum if you're a motorcycle enthusiast. It's very impressive. Then we come on down to Springfield, Illinois, spent the night. I got up yesterday morning, and I left the group and just took off on my own because you can only ride as fast as your slowest rider, and sometimes I like to ride a little faster than the rest of them. So I took off Monday morning, and I was able to run 75 and 80 most of the way from Springfield, Illinois to Rolla, Missouri. And then I got out here about 10 o'clock.
Did you tell them what motorcycle you're riding?
I'm riding a 2019 Harley-Davidson Street Glide. And,
nice machine.
Yep.
Well, let's see. I think we'll go to the comments and see where we're at there. I noticed a comment there from Tommy, or that's the way the username says. I don't know if it's the other way around in real life, but regardless, he says that car alternators cost more than $100 nowadays. Well, that's true, especially if you get them from a dealer or, you know, if you're having a mechanic do it. But if you buy them on Amazon, you can still get a deal on them, and some of them you can get for under $100. But anyway, you can't do that with my Ranger. Well, actually, you can't. Well, let me explain that. I think this is kind of funny. I mean, it just shows you how ridiculous they're being with the $1,200 price. If you don't buy them from the dealer and you just buy a knockoff on Amazon, it's a aftermarket version of it, the same exact piece of equipment, other than the fact that it's an aftermarket piece of equipment, costs like $55 versus $1,200.
That's the same with Harley-Davidson parts. The reverse motor just went out on Ramona's trike, and Harley Davidson wants $1,200 just for the part, and that's not including labor. Our mechanic that works on our motorcycles, he was able to do it for measly $800.
Yeah.
And that's rebuilding the starter, because the reverse motor is just a starter motor is all it is.
Yeah.
So he's able to do it for a measly $800. But they say you can go to the auto parts store, and if the guy knows what he's doing, he can cross-reference the number off the Harley product, and it's basically just a Mitsubishi starter motor, and they're $150, $200
Yep.
if you do it that way, and Harley wants $1,000 for that same motor.
Yeah, you gotta. If you don't do stuff yourself these days, you are definitely gonna pay. Just like when I had to fix my 2013 Dodge Ram, that big 1-ton truck we have that pulls the horse trailer and all that. The estimates were anywhere from, I think, around $3,500 roughly to $7,000 roughly. And I think Sue said one of them was more than that. But anyway, those were the estimates to fix the turbocharger for that. Well, I started watching videos and stuff, and I saw what needed to be fixed, and I thought, well, I can do that. You know, it didn't look easy, but I could do that. So I called around, and there's this one particular diesel company that's real reputable they mostly just deal in these trucks. It's not Area Diesel Service. It's not that. It's a different company, but they're kind of like the Area Diesel Service in that they specialize in this. Well, anyway, I call them, and they're very, very careful about selling you a part, but they, like they'll ask you a million questions because they want to make sure you get the right part and that you know what you're doing and that you know not to do it XYZ way. In other words, like this particular part, you have to drain all your antifreeze before you put it in. And I mean, there's just a whole bunch. It's just a whole process. Well, anyway, I bought the part for $900. It took me an hour and a half to do it. And keep in mind, I don't even know what I'm doing. And it only took me an hour and a half. So versus $7,000. So if you don't know how to do stuff these days, you are going to pay. That's all I can tell you. So let's move into the comments. John Pepper was the first one there. And he says, good morning, Rod Wentler and Eddie Turner. And then Bill Webb, he's saying good morning on here too. How did you do that?
I don't know.
He's standing right here. Let's see. Yeah, he's right next door. Yeah, he's over in the rental apartment, which is literally right through there. And let's see. David Tharp, I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. It's impossible to put it down. Yeah, well, I could see how that would happen. Kenneth Ennis, morning, Jerry, from St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. Hope all is well. Try to stay cool today. Give us a nice song this morning. Wow, I wasn't prepared for that. I think I'll pass on that right now, but you never know. I might think of something and maybe try something. Who knows? Moving on down here, Dottie is... how long you staying here? She's asking you, Bill.
Till Friday morning. We're leaving out Friday, going to Sulphur, Oklahoma. We'll spend the night there, and we got another event this weekend.
And then her follow question was, how far is your wife away?
She's 8 hours away.
Okay, let's see.
She should be here. If she left at 6, like she said, she'd be here about 2.
Okay. Well, we'll have to be watching for her. Let's see. Rod Wentler. Jerry, what are your thoughts on raising a nut slot with baking soda and super glue? Well, if you're doing it for your own private personal use, I say knock yourself out. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine. And have I ever done it? Yeah, I've done it, but only on really, really cheap instruments. I mean, ones that weren't worth spending 15 minutes on, that kind of thing. But on a say like a Martin guitar or a Gibson or a Taylor or something, and I'm being paid to do it, no, I don't agree with it at all. I don't think you should do it. I don't think that's the way to do it. If you're taking it to a professional, you should get a professional job. And so I don't do it. But for personal use, like I would even do it on my own instrument if I felt like that was a quick fix, especially if I was going on stage in 30 minutes or something, I might do that. But no, I don't think that's the normal way to do it or the right way if you're being paid to do it. We were talking about it, and like Bill saves some of the original material or some of the nut material and uses that versus the baking soda, and that I don't have too much problem with that either. But again, I don't think I do it generally on a professional basis. It just depends, and it would depend on the instrument. If it's a real cheap instrument or if the person just don't have any money, well, then maybe that's okay. You maybe just do it to save them some money, that type of thing.
I may have mentioned this before, but because of Jerry and watching his videos for years, I think I discovered Jerry in 2017, so I've been watching his videos for several years now. I work as a guitar tech at a local music shop there in Sulphur Springs, Texas, and we got a guitar from one of our sister shops, and it had a pretty crude neck repair. They did a good job repairing the neck. They just didn't do a good finish on the repair. So I did that, and they had put so much super glue on the nut slot. They actually glued the string into the nut slot. And so,
I've seen that before.
Yeah. So, just be very sparing with the super glue. And sometimes, in one time I had a situation where I was filing a nut slot, and I actually felt the nut slot file drop, and it just pop, and I had filed through the super glue and whatever they used, and then the nut slot was too deep, and the string buzzed, so I had to just knock the nut off and start over because it was a mess anyway.
Yeah, I've had that happen a lot myself, where you're filing and then you can feel it drop, and when you feel that drop, they've filled it with something, and I'll add on the CA glue for anybody that's using CA glue on your instrument. You cannot be too careful with CA glue. Super glue, CA glue, same thing. Be sure to tape it off. Be sure to, really be super careful because it runs like a duck's butt. It just runs everywhere. And it's...
I like the super glue.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I told the story several times, there was one young guy in the office or in the shop one day, and this was quite a long time ago, but he was watching me repair something with the CA glue, and he thought he could fix his. Well, he made a wreck out of it. I mean, a wreck out of it. And he brought it to me to fix it. And yeah, anyway, so just be real careful because it'll run in places you don't even know it's running. I mean, like it'll run down through something and run down your neck, and you won't even know it until it's too late, and then it's a mess. So be real careful with that stuff.
Another thing about super glue is something I discovered watching Jerry's videos was the accelerator. If you've got a part or something that you're trying to put on there and you want it to stay, and you don't have time to sit there and hold it while you're waiting for the glue to dry, just spritz it with the accelerator, and I mean it's on there. It sets instantly, and you don't have to sit there and hold it or clamp it.
Right.
Especially when you're putting a nut on there, because then you can just go ahead and you can spritz it. You can go ahead and restring it right away.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait.
I'm going to move over just a little bit. Why don't you slide up a little closer to this mic too? Well, and the other thing I'll say about the accelerator is don't use it immediately. Put your glue on there, hold it for 10 seconds, then spritz it lightly with the accelerator, and it won't turn white, it won't get smoky, it won't do all that stuff. So
it usually takes me that long to find my accelerator because I don't get it all out ahead of time. So
exactly. I do the same thing. Mike Bennett says, can I put in a request? It says, I don't believe you met my baby. Let me see. Did we get that one yesterday? I thought we did. Yep, we did. We got that one from Mike Bennett yesterday. So I've got that on my song request already. I don't know if we'll do it or not, Mike, but I'm going to present it to the band. In fact, now that you brought that up, I wanted to say that we'll take requests through this vlog, and I'll get then after we're done with the vlog, I'll send all these requests out to the band and see who knows them. And I'll try to pick up the slack on whatever they don't know or whatever. And we'll try to do as many of them as we can. I'm not promising we'll do them all. And again, it's like I said yesterday, if the song fits us or fits me or whatever, I'll do it. But if it doesn't fit, I just don't generally do them. Okay, so there you go. Let's move on down. David Tharp says, my wife got mad at me for being lazy. I don't know why. I didn't do anything. Dad jokes. Kim Williford. Good morning, Jerry and friends. Jerry, I have a request. Man of constant sorrow. I'll write that down. I think we did that one not too long ago on one of these. And I'll write the name down here before I forget, because I will forget otherwise. Okay. Got that one, Kim. We'll probably do that one because I do know that one. Let's see. Mike Bennett, did yesterday's vlog stop abruptly? Well, that's what I was addressing. I didn't think it did from my end. What happened, I'll give you encapsulated if I can remember it. It's set on the screen, chat interrupted or something like that, or chat stalled or paused or something. It said something like that. And then just almost instantly after that, chat started again. Well, from that point down, it didn't look like we were getting any new chats, and so it must have stalled at that time. I'm blaming it on my cable going between here and the shop. I'm thinking that maybe that cable is not as good as it ought to be or something, because in the shop, I'm still getting, well, I don't know, 600, something like that down, and 800 or 900 even up, which is real good. I'm happy with that. We're supposed to get a gig, but 800 to 900 is short of a little bit short of a gig. But anyway, up here, we're only getting 30 to 40. Not even 100, so it's way slower up here. Even though 30 to 40 is still pretty good, it's not terrible. We ought to be getting way better than that. So I'm assuming that fiber optic cable I put in isn't doing its job. Or maybe there's a distance on it. I mean, we're about 300 feet from down there at the shop, so I don't know. I'm still researching it. I'll try to figure it out. Bill Webb has a question mark. He's answering Dottie's question there. We've been coming up for several years. Okay, yeah, I'll just let that go. Let's see. Bill Rhodes. Good morning, Jerry. Sorry I missed you yesterday. Well, I'm sorry you did too.
Yeah, I didn't know it stopped abruptly because apparently I was watching. I got here about, like I said, I got here about 11 o'clock yesterday, and about 3, I was trying to watch the morning blog because I missed it. And apparently I fell asleep before the end of it, so I didn't know it ended up. Apparently I ended abruptly.
I have that effect on people. Let's see. Dottie Hildebrand, Bill Webb, you are a motorcycle, right? How's your trip so far? Well, I think he's kind of answered that. Let's see. Kim Williford, we have loads of viewers this morning. Yeah, well, 158, which isn't really our high. Our high, well, on our vlogs, we've been over 200, but generally a good vlog is around 180 or something like that, but we're a little low. We're at 159 right now, it says. Paul Lanier, oops, forgot to say good morning. Well, good morning, Paul. And let's see. Dottie, she's talking to Bill again. Okay. I'll pass that one up then. Let's see.
It is very tiring riding with a group of 12 motorcycles.
I bet.
You have to be constantly aware of your surroundings, what the person in front of you is doing, what the person behind you is doing, and plus the traffic, cars and trucks going by. Because one slip up when you're in a group, you can take out every motorcycle behind you.
like dominoes.
Yeah, it can be very dangerous, and it's like work. It's mentally and physically tiring.
Right. George Sweep says, what is Cometa Systems? And my better question is, how did you know about that? You must have seen it on one of my videos somewhere, or maybe I was wearing the T-shirt that says Cometa Systems. Well, Cometa Systems is a company owned by the Italian exchange student that stayed with us. His name is Matteo Della Corno, and he's from Italy. He's from Milan area. And he comes and visits us every year, or he has every year for the last, well, I don't know. He was here as a student in the very early 2000s, and he's got a family now with 2 kids, and they come here and stay a few days or a week or something, and we really enjoy having them. But Cometa Systems is the company his dad started, and it's the only biofeedback system that works underwater. In other words, they can attach it to swimmers, like Olympic swimmers, and get biofeedback while they're swimming, and it's pretty cool. And he sells that all over the world. I was their distributor here for a long time. He hasn't sent me anything to distribute lately, so I don't know if he's figured that out and got another way to handle it, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm busy enough as it is. But anyway, they do come back and visit all the time. Let's see. And by my standards, he's wealthy. I think they're doing well with their company. Let's see. Dottie Hildebrand, Ben Boyd, how about you? Okay, I think that was a private conversation, I think. Let's see. It scrolled on me. Looking for... Okay, David Tharp says, I went on a job interview, and the boss said, what 3 words would you use to describe yourself? I said, lazy. Let's see. Simon Jardine. Well, he has no question marks on that one, so I guess I'll skip that one. Gary Hayden. Jerry, don't throw away your broken plastic buckets. They work great for welding since nearly everything is made of the same kind of plastic. Yeah. Well, yeah, we got all kinds of plastic around here. If we tried to keep all of our plastic buckets on a place like this, you'd have to build another building on. Tommy, he was talking about the car alternators. And then Chipwood says, what does the word cents stand for, as in 10 cents sharp or flat? Well, technically, I don't know. And that's another one of those things that I don't care. I just look at it and use it as a relative term. But I know that there have been people that have asked that before, and there's people in the comments that will explain it, and I'll let them explain it. And quite honestly, I could give a rip. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's how I feel about stuff like that. If I need to know it or think it's really important, then I dig into it. But to me, that's not really important. It's just a relative number compared to the center, and you want to be in the center. So that's the way I think of it. Let's see. And he has a request for Jimmy Rogers song for Thursday night's jam. We have a Jimmy Rogers already from Chipwood, so we've got that on the list already. And Bill Mumbo says, Jerry, can you play Lord, I Hope This Day Is Good Thursday? I'll write that one down. I think Bill does that one.
It's a good Don Williams song.
Yeah, I think Bill does it. If it's not Bill, then it's Gary. It's one of those 2 guys. I think it's Bill, though. And that was, who asked for that?
Bill Mumbo.
Okay, yeah, I can't even read it fast enough to find it again. That's my problem. It just glazes over after I read it. I don't know. I got some kind of reading issue. I just don't know what it is. Gary Hayden, Jerry, I'd love to hear Devil Woman for the live concert. Okay. I'll try it. I haven't done it in a long time, but I know that one. And that was Gary Hayden. I do know that one at least. And then Tom Armstrong, I use super glue when glue pearls in the jewelry business, and it's killer. If you get it close to your eyes, can be bad stuff. Yeah, for sure. I don't know, Tom, if I'm trying to think about the eyes on the odorless. I don't think it's as bad on your eyes. The odorless CA glue you can get, and that's all I'm using now. Because I'm telling you, that smell of that CA glue drives me up the wall. People were using it all along, and like some of that Glue Boost and some of those things are basically just CA glue. And when, like they said, well, you can finish your instrument with, well, I can't stay in the same room with it, because especially when you spread it out like that, it is so powerful, it'll just kill you. But you could do it with this odorless, and it's not a problem. And it seems to work just as well. It's just odorless. I don't know. Anyway, I've been using the odorless for the last year or so. And again, that was a recommendation by one of you guys. Zappa, if using CA glue and get some on yourself, be careful with the accelerator. It will burn. Boy, you ain't kidding there. It burns big time.
I have not had that happen yet.
I've never had that happen. Yeah, right. No, it's happened a bunch of times, and it really burns. It makes you wish you'd never seen this stuff. It burns hot. Dottie Hildebrand, could you do vine-covered church? I'll write it down here. Right, and that was Dottie. And let's see. Kim Williford says, thank you. Well, you're welcome. But for what? Because by now I don't remember what it was for. Do you don't remember either? See, he doesn't either, so it's not just my fault.
You was answering this question about the nut slot or something. I don't remember.
Okay. Well, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, you're welcome, Kim. Chip Wood, well, the light bulb just went off when you said center, left, or right of center. In tune, my gosh. Yeah, well, that's the way I think of it. I mean, I know it says cents on the tuner. It's like degrees. What do degrees mean? Well, I don't know really what they mean either, to be honest with you. If you get right down to it, what does a degree mean? It just means it's a notch left or right or where you want to be. That's pretty much the truth of it.
An abbreviation? I don't know.
Yeah, well, there is a real explanation for cents, but I don't know what it is. And like I said, I don't really care what it is. So you're wasting your time if you're explaining it to me. Steve Mays doesn't have any questions, but he's the last one down there. It says, I have noticed the black guitar has been missing for some time. Yeah, that's the one I took apart down there at the shop. It's going to need a whole new top. I'm not even going to try to salvage it. It's really bad. That was the one I built out of that 1800s or late 1800s upright piano. And that was back a long time ago when I took it out of that piano, way before we went on YouTube, probably 10 or 15 years before I went on YouTube. And the top laid around for years, so it probably got cracked when I took it out. I didn't realize it, and because I had to just beat it out of there. I mean, those things are glued in big time, and they don't come out easy. Well, I didn't have the proper tools back then to take it out. I could do it now probably and take one out, but the truth is I'd never do it again. It's just more hassle than it's worth. I thought it would be cool to build a guitar out of that real old wood, and it was, and it did sound really good. It's just that it wasn't strong enough to use because of all the cracks and stuff. And like I said, I'm just going to build a new top for it someday, maybe. So we'll see if that ever happens. Kim Williford says, for the song. There you go, Man of Constant Sorrow. Okay, you're welcome, Kim. I knew it was for a reason. See, if I could have looked over here on my right on my list, and I would have known, but I didn't think to do that. It's hard to keep it all in context. There's too much stuff. All right, I'm going to read my list of song requests so that everybody knows what the requests are so far. We had Shenandoah Valley of Virginia by Bass Cat 73, Stormy Deep by Bruce Moore, which I have no idea what that is. Help Is on the Way by David Tharp and Dottie. And thanks. And George... Oh, George Sweet made a contribution to the band. I was thinking, why did I have that on there?
Never heard that song.
And then Body and Soul from Hugh O'Connor, and then Copperhead Road by Ben Boyd, Jimmy Rogers' song for Chip Woods, I Don't Believe You Met My Baby for Mike Bennett, Man of Constant Sorrow for Kim Williford, Lord, I Hope This Day Is Good, Bill Mumbo, Devil Woman for Gary Hayden, and Vine Covered Church for Dottie. And I think that's it. That's the request we have so far. I'll give you a couple of minutes to try another request or two, but I think we've reached the end of the vlog here. We do have 164 viewers at the moment.
I'd just like to say, just as you come in the gate, you come in the front gate there, if you've been keeping up with the water wheel videos like I have, they don't do it justice till you see it up close and in person. It's very impressive, and just to stand there and just to listen to it, it's very relaxing. It's just hard to explain the effect it has, but it's really nice. It's going to be even better when the wheelhouse gets built. It's going to be impressive. If you get a chance to come up here and see it in person, visit with Jerry and Sue, you owe it to yourself to do that.
Well, thanks, Bill. And Tom Armstrong says, can you and Bill sing a song? Well, I don't think you have an instrument handy, do you?
No, I don't have one.
And I don't have an extra one in here. All I've got's a mandolin. Do you want contributions through PayPal for the band? Well, yeah, Dottie, if the contributions can come through PayPal, I'm real happy about that. I guess I'm not saying don't send them through the Super Chat. I'm just saying that they take a lot of money out of the Super Chat. You know, I mean, those guys take 30%. PayPal takes 3%. So, you know, PayPal is a credit card company, basically, is really what they are. And so they take an appropriate fee like a credit card does, which, you know, even 3% on a big purchase is a lot of money, but, you know, it's way different than 30%. So I don't know. I hate to say that because it's like biting the hand that's feeding you. You know what I mean? YouTube's the one that's feeding me, but on the other hand, I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that. They probably shut my channel down talking like that. Zappa says he looked up since. It's complicated crap. Now, do you understand why I said I don't care? Because I've never, in the 40 years or plus that I've been working on instruments, building instruments and all that, and playing music, I never needed to know it, and it's never hurt, or at least I don't feel like it's hurt me. Theron Corbett, we need a 24-hour water wheel live cam since you have nothing else to do. Yeah, well, you know, I guess there's always a possibility. My wife took I think I actually took the photos, but she has up on her screen of her computer right now a water wheel, and it's a really cool picture. I'll try to remember and include it in tomorrow's vlog. It's a really cool picture. So I'm trying to emulate this picture a little bit, and it was taken down by Steelville, Missouri. There's a really, it's a decorative water wheel. They put it up for decoration, you know, and basically that's what I'm doing. Although I want mine to look, you know, reasonably authentic, I guess. and of course theirs does too, I guess. But theirs is really nice. I mean, it's really nice. I wished I would have probably taken more time and made mine as nice as theirs, but that would have taken a lot of time. Anyway, I'll try to remember to show you that picture tomorrow. Let's see. DE. I was thinking you should make an area on the side of the water wheel where groups like a wedding party can pose with their in the background. Yeah.
That'd be hard to do.
Yeah, it's really steep right there. I mean, it's really steep. And I wanted, a lot of people said you should have put the water wheel on the other side or put the building on the other side of the water wheel so you could see it from the inside. Well, yeah, but then you can't see it when you're driving in. And that's my whole idea, was to make that your first impression when you drive in the farm. It just looks cool when you drive in and you see this thing spinning, And so it's a first impression type thing. And you can still see it, But anyway, it is what it is. And we are gonna make the water wheel house a 2-story house. There'll be an entrance from downstairs and an entrance from upstairs, and there will not be a staircase because it's just not that big, and there's no reason to need a staircase. Although there's a chance I might put a hole in the floor and make a ladder up, up the wall or something where you just climb up a ladder. Maybe do that, but
put a fireman's pole in it.
Yeah, a fireman's pole. But and then I'm kind of anxious to get the building done because I do want to put my generator in there just to see what it'll do. The thing is, where that's located, unfortunately, it's like, what would I do with the power even if I made a whole lot of power? It's like it's not really that usable. I've got all kinds of battery chargers already. I don't need another battery charger, and that's pretty much all it's going to be. Yeah, Christia says the hydroelectric possibilities are endless. Well, they are, but it's like, again, it's not in a good location. You can't run, you can't run DC electric very far at all without a gigantic cable. You got to have a gigantic cable, and I don't have enough money to do that. And converting it to AC and really running it a really long distance isn't exactly practical either. So I don't know. It just isn't real practical where it's located. David Tharp, I got hired to be a model at a fitness gym. They're gonna use me as the before picture. I couldn't read it because there's this little heart thing down there and I couldn't see what that word said. So that's why I was pausing there. Yeah, well, I could probably pose for that myself. Well, guys, I think that's going to be it for today. Let's see. DE says, power a beverage cooler in the wheelhouse. Yeah, we might do something like that. Water pump for the fountain. Yeah, well, that's the things I have planned right now. I'm planning to put some lights in the building, in the little building, and some lights on maybe my front poles, entrance poles as you come in, pillars, and maybe a fountain. And that's really all I'm planning to do with it. And if it does all that, I'll be tickled. Yeah, light up your lights on the driveway. Yeah, well, on both sides of the pole, on both sides of the driveway there probably. But I don't think I'll be stringing lights all the way up and down the driveway because they'd get busted and run over anyway around here with all the tractors and four-wheelers and equipment. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let that be it. Thanks for being here this morning. We will see you tomorrow with something else, and I'll try to remember to bring you that cool picture. I didn't know we still had that picture. I took it years ago, and now Sue found it and put it on the backdrop of her computer, so it's really it's really one of the nicest looking water wheel pictures I've ever seen, and I think you'll enjoy seeing it, and kind of what my vision has always been. This is where my vision came from. So we'll see you tomorrow.